All right, howdy. My name is Caroline Clausen, and I am part of Group 48, and we decided to do our film project on American Psycho. So, what's the film about? American Psycho takes place in a wealthy area of New York City in the 1990s. It shows the social scene of our main character, Patrick Bateman. Patrick is a very routinely man who loves to make money and can accept nothing but perfection. However, he also indulges in sex and drugs to fill the void of knowing he's not like everyone around him. So, what's his diagnosis? His so-called murderous rampages can be explained due to his antisocial personality disorder. One glaring example of his disorder is his lack of empathy. During the movie, he experiences no empathy for his actions. In fact, he shows total disregard for the consequences unless he believes it will ruin his perfect image. In addition, any bad qualities he has, he reflects onto others, which is another indication of APD. Lastly, he goes out of his way to ensure things go in his favor despite any obstacles. This self-serving nature is also another symptom of APD. So what are the symptoms? DSM-5, APD is assessed by many diagnostic criteria, features, and associated features that center around two main symptoms, being the person's deceitfulness and a lack of remorse. Deceitfulness is repeated lying, use of aliases, or conning others for personal profit or pleasure, and lack of remorse is being indifferent to or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another. So where do we see examples? Examples of deceit in the movie, lying. Bateman can be seen excessively lying when attempting to make reservations at a restaurant called Dorsia. Though he was never successful in getting a reservation during the two attempts he made, he lied to both Courtney and Jean. He not only deceived them, but also deceived himself of his own superiority and social status. He also uses an alias and cons others. He used an alias during his encounters with Paul Allen, the first murder, and with the escorts, the second murders, so he could follow through with the murders scot-free. The use of aliases and conning for pleasure are tactics that work hand in hand for Bateman. The use of an alias is his way of misconstruing his identity to allow himself the opportunity to murder his victims, ultimately bringing him sadistic pleasure and personal profit. We also see his lack of remorse. Obviously, he committed many murders throughout the duration of the film and did so happily. Towards the end of the film, there's a moment of panic and he confesses everything to his lawyer only to save himself. Even after evading any kind of conviction due to his perfect social status, he states in the end that there is, quote, no catharsis, end quote. Throughout all facets of Bateman's character, he's able to commit atrocities with a clear conscience due to the fact that he does not take into consideration the feelings and lives of people around him. So what are his treatment options? There's not a specific treatment for APD, but group therapy is assumed to work best. It creates a safe environment for clients and for people with APD. This helps them focus on their issues. When working with a group of adults with APD, the therapy should be directive and there should at least be two therapists present. It can also help by providing a good guy, bad guy scenario where the clients can use constructive identification. A lot of the times, group therapy has shown to help people with APD get the parenting feeling that they didn't receive as a child. So what's keeping him from receiving the treatment? He's egotistical, routinely Wall Street man who only accepted perfection in his life. With that being said, he had all the funds necessary to receive proper treatment, but him being so particular, he didn't fathom needing or wanting help from others. We also saw a huge shift in him at the end, though, and he had a complete meltdown and ended up telling everything to his lawyer about the murders that he had thought he had committed. We believe that if he was in this mental state again, he would receive help, but whenever he felt, quote, better, he would instantly not go to therapy anymore. Does it provide an accurate depiction of the disorder? I believe that Patrick Bateman does provide a very accurate portrayal of APD. Many people with this disorder are being described as manipulative, reckless, and non-empathetic. Obviously, we've explained that he definitely exemplifies this through his manipulative actions of murder and his lack of empathy for his victims. How does this portrayal affect how audiences perceive this? The film shows very graphic and disturbing images that can lead audiences to believe all people with this disorder are like Bateman. But we know that the vast majority of people with this disorder are not psychotic serial killers. Thus, the old cliche of don't judge a book by its cover can be used not only for this disorder, but many others. Just because a disorder is portrayed one way doesn't mean that all people with that disorder are as frightening as what we see on screen. So these are our works cited, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation.